Hello there, right here we have a brand new 1.16.2 snapshot. This is 1.16.2 pre-release 2. And in this pre-release, like most pre-releases, they did majority of bug fixes, but they actually did a feature change as well. And some of these changes actually affect how we do stuff, especially in the automated world of Minecraft. Now remember guys, if you haven't already, make sure to follow me there on Twitch because after this video is finished, we'll be doing a testing stream with the viewers. So you guys can hop on to our world and try out some of these new changes with me as well as a bunch of other technical Minecraft players. You can find more information at my Twitch link. Now the first big thing that they did is they changed it so you no longer need to use shears in order to get the types of nether roots. This is the warped as well as crimson variations. If we go ahead and use these shears on this, you can see you can still get the item, but you don't even need them now, so I can just punch with my hand and I can still get it. There might be a few different reasons why they wanted to implement using shears, maybe to reduce people farming this using water or shifting floors, or even to nerf our fungus tree farm. It really didn't make sense that you had to use shears on this. With this change back to the way it used to be, we don't have to worry about changing up our nether vegetation farms or our fungus tree farm. And we are coming out with a new version of the fungus tree farm, so you can look forward to that. So make sure if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do it, as this will be the new go-to way of getting lots of wood. They did a technical change in this snapshot, which has to do with the execute command. Now you can use the in afterwards, which decides what biome you want to execute something in. You can say, I want to go into another dimension. But now this command will respect the distance difference between the dimensions, as walking in the nether, you can travel a lot farther distance than in the overworld. Everything is actually 1/8 to scale. So if we go ahead and we TP ourselves into the nether, but at this position we have in the overworld, it will automatically calculate this position and divide it by 8 and figure out where it should be in the nether dimension. Go ahead and execute it. And you can see I'm very close to actually the nether portal. In the past, pistons were never able to push downwards into Y level 0, and now they can. So you can actually push blocks down into the very lowest parts of the game. And this also applies to the highest points of the world, 256. Now this change should allow us to make void perimeters more easily. This is a cool concept I came up with several years ago. And a lot of people have expanded on it since then, especially people from the Anarchy servers. I'll link in the description if you want to learn more about it. They fixed a bug where Endermen could pick up blocks that had snow on them. This normally happens inside of snowy biomes. Snow will land on top of it and it'll make this type of grass block, which is visual. Enderman can actually pick it up and it would keep its properties, and then they place it down again and it would look like this. Now normally when you remove the snow layer, it will also update it, but that wasn't occurring with Enderman. Now they did try to fix this bug in the past, and I talked about it as being a rare in 1.16. But you guys mentioned in the comments that you were able to replicate this, and they have finally apparently fixed it. If you want to get this as a rare block, make sure to not only get the block variation, but also get Enderman holding it, as it will no longer even visually show them holding a snowy block. There was a problem to do with item frames where they could not be emptied if the game rule do entity drop was set to false. Now the game rule is also allow entities that normally would drop from stuff to no longer drop their item. So it shouldn't have affected people actually physically popping out stuff in the item frames. They also fixed another game rule command, and this is send command feedback. This is where you can turn off so that every time a command is successful, it doesn't spam your chat. This was also preventing people from using like the message command to message people. Now they actually changed the creative menu a little bit. Here it is in the past, where the dyes are illustrated by the order of the color, which was based on their data value back in the day. And all the white stuff was like 0 and orange was 1. Magenta was 2, but this is actually reversed when it comes to dyes. You can see those ones are started over here instead of starting in the beginning, and these are usually the end ones, numbers 16 and 15. So now this is what it looks like for the dyes inside of the creative menu. These here used to be dyes, but now the actual dyes start here and they go all the way to here. And they are in the same order. Now, it's kind of nice that they did that, but in general, the creative menu is super messed up. Like, the key redstone components are way down here, like redstone dust and repeaters, and we have all these replica stuff up front, and they should really fix that. And all in all, they should just really redo the whole creative menu. Like in the brewing section here, we got one item here, we got a couple items here, and we got some new items down here. Pretty inconsistent. Now, there was a problem that pistons would push rails over top of blocks that couldn't accept them, were just deleting the rails and wouldn't drop any item. So stuff like leaves, air, or water was just deleting the rails. I ran across this quirk accidentally when I was trying to push rails on top of a piston that was also moving at the same time, which made it block 36. But now this has been fixed, so the rails will just drop as item. There was a bug where strongholds weren't generating in the presets of floating islands or caves. And this is a preset when you start a new world. You can come over here and choose what type of world you want. You could choose like caves or floating islands. Caves being the nether type of biome and floating islands being the end type. So now people can play like custom worlds and still have access to the end dimension. There was a problem in the demo mode of Minecraft where it was resetting the player's position as well as inventory upon launch. If you guys don't know what demo mode is, it's a free way to play Minecraft for a short period of time. It's a bit limited, but players get to have access and get a feel for how it is before they purchase the game. It was noticed that lava was actually killing players faster in the newer versions like 1.16.1 than it was in versions like 1.15.2. And this has now been fixed. Now Enderman had this ability where they could pick up blocks and place them, but they were actually placing blocks on top of blocks that had item frames on it. And this would destroy it. If I go ahead and place some blocks like they would, you can see it actually destroys the item frames because they suffocate. And this is destroying people's map art that they would place on the ground. Now this might have to do because Endermen have kind of a special ability where they can place blocks inside of entities. They can even place blocks inside of themselves, which is something I showed a few different times. It's kind of funny. Like the player can't place blocks inside themselves, but they can, so they're kind of hacking. So with this new fix, they might also not be able to place blocks inside of any entity. There was a bug to do with paintings where if two paintings were in the same block, when the chunk was reloaded, one would pop off. People often use paintings as kind of a decorative thing instead of houses. Now something that's been quite noticeable by people who've been playing it is that pistons that were moving were creating a lot of lag compared to past versions. And this bug finally got fixed where block events were creating lag in excessive amounts compared to past versions. So hopefully all your contraptions that have a lot of pistons moving, you should notice a reduction in lag. The new nether vegetation is fire resistant, but in some circumstances the lava is actually catching it on fire, which shouldn't have been the case, so they fixed it. Now for the longest time, entities going through portals has been pretty messed up, but they fixed a problem to do with minecarts coming out the wrong side of the nether portal and losing momentum when coming back to the overworld. So hopefully this makes minecarts a lot more consistent. I feel like the devices I showed several years ago where you could make minecarts go in and out of nether portals and load chunks beyond them will be more consistent. Also, it used to affect if there was blocks behind here or not. Like if there was a block here, the minecart would end up in a different place than if the block was removed. Same thing for items, so it made it very weird to build anything to do with nether portals. Also, some directions would act differently than others. I'm kind of excited for this change because this will allow us to automate Minecraft more consistently, even if chunk loading is a little bit limited in these newer versions. If you guys are curious how chunk loading works in these newer versions, I have done quite a few different videos over this. I'll link them down below. Now there's a few predicates that weren't working properly, such as the distance one, as well as the custom biomes being unusable, and both have been updated. A couple of snapshots ago, they tried to fix it so that when withers would kill you, it sounded more correct, but it actually sounded more weird. So one killed you wither times, but now this has been fixed. There was a problem that the piglins, when they would barter, part of the texture would look incorrect, as been now fixed. There was a problem in 1.16 where if a charge creeper would blow up a variation of a mob, like a wither skeleton or a zombie villager, it would drop no skull at all, rather than dropping like a wither skull or a zombie skull. And now a fix has been implemented. If you'd happen to craft up more than one smithing table or stone cutter, it wouldn't actually give you the item recipe for you to use it later on. This bug has been fixed. The nausea effect gives you kind of a green outside edge to your screen and also makes it shake. This green tick could easily be removed just by pressing F1. Now you can no longer easily get out of it. Pufferfish were accidentally giving level nausea 2 instead of level 1. Now this is fixed in the new version. There was a crash occurring when people would create custom dimensions, and if they would make multiple data packs with dimensions that were all referring to the same dimension type, it would cause this problem. This has been fixed. They also fixed problem to do with custom or modified biomes no longer working in the overworld. A very nice pre-release where they fix not only lag but also some aesthetics and some also more technical bugs. I really look forward to playing around with these in our snapshot testing stream, which we have going on right now. Make sure to hop on over there and make sure to hop onto our testing world with us. And if you haven't already, join our Discords. Both mine as well as the ProtoTech one are linked down below. This is where we actually talk about the new changes to the snapshots and what we can do with them. If you guys know of any bugs, make sure to report them to the developers using this link right here, as well as tell me about them in the comments. And I would love to hear your guys' opinions about these changes and how it might affect the game. And as always, don't forget to share this video with your favorite Minecrafters so they can learn about the new changes and update their builds to them, as well as leave a like on the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!